Welcome to Legend Series. And in this edition, we are glad to have an important guest, a very profound educationist in this part of the world, Professor Romanus Egudu. He has been many things in the past and up to today. He is a role model to a lot of people around the east of the Niger in Nigeria. And he has actually been a university administrator for many years. He has been at the University of Benin. He has also been a provost at the College of Education in Hamufu. He has also been into media administration as well, having served under the Anambra State television back in the day in the Second Republic. And he was also recently at Godfrey Okoye University. He will talk more about himself because his resume is so profound and so impressive that we may not be able to talk about it so much within the short period we have. He has also published many books. One of his books, I still remember, I used it in my second year or so use of English, Calabash of Wisdom. So I still remember that, you know. So, and we're going to tap from him some of the knowledge he has in different areas. He has also been a diplomat, actually, representing Nigeria at the United States back in the day. So we'll touch on all these issues, looking at how because we share this conversation a lot of times about how education is actually going south and what could be done to revamp that. So we'll discuss that. We'll also discuss some of his accomplishments within the community, in his own community, because much as he's also into education, he has been around the world, he's also a community person and a family man. So we'll discuss all these things, looking at his life and times and his legacy. So it's my pleasure to welcome Professor Romanus Egudu.
Well, you know that all of us, including your father, we started from the bedrock of poverty. Yes, you talked of trekking to Eke. I trekked to St. Peter's Harbour.
Romanus Nnagbo Egudu is a Nigerian poet and scholar. At 84, Egudu, a professor of English language and comparative literature studies, has proved to be an outstanding academic, university administrator, and community leader. He published poetry in Transition magazine in the 1960s while undertaking graduate studies in English literature at Michigan State University. He has held teaching positions at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and the University of Benin, where he headed the English department. Egudu is notable for his work in West African and Igbo poetry. The MEF Legend Series, a program by the Michael Ekwo Foundation that celebrates the extraordinary contributions of notable individuals across various sectors. Professor Romanus Egudu shares his thoughts on contemporary issues related to education, public affairs, culture, corruption, inequality, and poverty.
You must have known, even though you were not here, that in the 40s, the highest level of education in the school, our school head, was standard 3. So all of us, whenever you completed standard 3, now look for another school outside Ebe to continue your education, standard 4, standard 5, standard 6. Some of us went to Eke. Like Vincent, who you are never here, of blessed memory. They went to Eke. I went to Abo, St. Peter's, for 3 good years. And remember that we never had water in Ebe. So we had to wake up early in the morning, trek to Ajali, Eke, or to we in Nnagbo, or to another stream in Abo, Yogine. Depending on whichever was closer to you, we had to go there, fetch water, come back. If there was breakfast, you take breakfast. Sometimes it's just the palm kernels you eat, and then start trekking to Alpo or to Eke for school. That was the life that time. And we thank God because some parents were not able to pay fees, 1 6 pence per month for their children to continue going to school. If I remember, there is a popular song, there was in Igbo, which motivated most of us. It was taught in the school. And I would sing it in Igbo and then translate it into English. It went this way. Akwụkwọ na-asụ ụsọ ma ọ na-afịa ahụ na mmụta onye were tachi obi ama mụta akwụkwọ onye jisiere ike ọ ga-amụta akwụkwọ ma ọ bụrụ na nne ya na nna ya enwe ego. Yes, and we used to sing it before entering the class and so on. And it motivated most of us. The conditions are there, the prerequisites are there. But the key thing is, education is a very good thing, sweet thing, but it is difficult to acquire. But if you are strong enough and determined to make it, you will succeed, provided your parents had money to sponsor you. It was in that kind of phenomenon that all of us went to school. And in my own personal history, I remember when I was in Standard 6 at Abo, the supervisor of schools that time, one Reverend Father Kelly, used to tour the various schools and monitoring the performance of pupils in Standard 6. He came to Abo once and was chatting with our teacher, one Mr. Cyprian Okichukwu of blessed memory. Very hard-working teacher, and loved us and made us work hard. So the supervisor asked him, how many of your pupils have passed the entrance examinations to go to secondary school the following year? He named all of us, most of those of us who passed the entrance examination. But then he said, this boy Romanus passed the entrance examination to CIC, to St. Teresa's, Soka, and a couple of others, but that he is not going anywhere. And the supervisor was shocked. And then asked me what happened. I told him that it was only my mother who had been sponsoring me from Standard 3. But my father died when I was in Standard 3 in 1948. My mother then, in addition to feeding all of us, who were 6 of the children, of our children, in addition to feeding us and doing all this, she was able to pay my school fees through. But then I had to contribute because every weekend I would go with her to the farm, bring cassava, go to the nearest market to sell the cassava, to raise money. So we did that, and so when I told the supervisor that I had nobody to train me, sponsor me in any secondary school, then he asked, is there anybody who can train you in the PTC? That was at Eke, Preliminary Teachers College. That's the meaning of PTC. And I told him, look, I told them I had to go back and consult with my mother.
His journey from these humble beginnings to becoming a pioneer in education and literature is a testament to resilience and determination. In his 132-page book, Prayer of the Powerless, Professor Egudu gives a voice to the dispossessed. The book delves into themes such as political silence, the erosion of traditional values, and the fight for justice and human rights. Egudu's poetic appeal for good governance and the disarmament of corruption remains a powerful commentary on societal issues. Professor Egudu's career cuts across educational administration and media management. He was the pioneer head of the Department of English and Literature, University of Benin, at its inception in 1977, and first provost of the College of Education, Ehamufu, in 1981, during the Jim Nwobodo administration in the old Anambra State. The octogenarian educationist recounted his experience in the United States, where a university professor doubted his competence to pursue doctoral studies in English literature.
I got the secular scholarship for me, USAID scholarship, USAID.
Yes.
That's how I went to university, to Michigan State for my graduate school. I arrived in Michigan State. The first 3 weeks was a tug of war. They said I must do masters before PhD. I said, but I have a letter of admission from this university admitting me to PhD. And that was true. We argued and argued and argued. Eventually, the head of department, Professor B, was a gentleman. And it was the last time one of the professors, that dexterous man, asked me, he said, Dudu, are you sure you understand our lectures in English? Because English is not your mother tongue.
Yeah.
And you won't have any concession that you are not. Yeah. I felt insulted. With my class honor, second upper,
yeah.
I just told the man, if given the chance, my answer scripts will answer this question of yours. And the man felt insulted also and he stopped out. They will continue. The last thing, the straw that broke the camel's back, but when I told them, because they were pressing, I must do master's first. And I knew I had only, the research was for 2 years.
Yes.
If I had to do master's, then it means I don't get PhD.
Yeah, of course.
So I told them that it will be unfair of this august body, a congregation of American people, the mother of democracy in this world. It will be unfair for you to condemn me without trial. You must try me before. The head of government said, look, this man sounds like a mature person. Of course, we can't condemn you. Mr. Good, go and prepare for the PhD qualifying test. Sure. I said, what I was expecting it because I've read the handbook and everything. I went for the qualifying test. In 3 days' time, I got a letter. You have passed, proceed to register for PhD.
There you go. Awesome.
Anyway, and for the 2 years I was in that university, all I knew was that I ate, I went to church, I slept, and I read.
In one of his writings later in life, Professor Egudu says it should be expected that African writers who have inherited the English language as a colonial legacy and who are therefore using this language as their creative medium will manifest in their work some evidence of the contact not only with the language but also with some English writers. As an advocate for integrity in education, Professor Egudu addresses the pervasive issue of corruption in Nigerian colleges.
Let people be honest. Let teachers not award grades on the basis of a bribe given to them, what they call sorting. Yes, it had eaten deep into the fabric of the Nigerian education system, from university down to primary school. So the only tool is if people could decide to be honest, to be fair, to pursue the truth, then there'll be no corruption. That's my own thinking. Not go beyond it and set up a standard, academics, minimum academic standards, which every university, before it gets approved, must meet. But then you see they don't appoint vice chancellors. They don't even influence the establishment of governing councils. No. All these have their own systems. So it is the governing council with what we call the board of trustees that appoint vice chancellors by means of interviews, and this is done publicly. So, but then, unfortunately, the university that should set a pace for political practice, if again, for instance, there's no question of student protest or this thing in Godfrey University. There is student politics, but they don't have that kind of power. They are not members of ASU. So it is again, it's a matter of integrity of the leader, the vice chancellor, and his deans and heads of department should set up the two to be danced to by students. Recently, a professor from my own department, I got from University, Prof English, was dismissed without even given the chance to defend himself, because I heard that the sin he committed was public knowledge. There was no need. And he was dismissed. I said, you can't do it in public university in Nigeria without going to court.
Beyond academia, Professor Egudu played a pivotal role as he was among the 14-member committee that set up the Anambra State Broadcasting Television, ATV, as the first state-owned television station during Governor Jim Nwobodo's administration of 1979 to 1983. He was also a special envoy of the National Universities Commission at Nigeria's embassy in Washington, D.C. As a community leader, Professor Egudu worked tirelessly for the development of his hometown, Ebe, in Udi local government area of Enugu State. From establishing the community secondary school Ebe to promoting cultural progress, his impact is immeasurable.
What are we talking about? Nigeria, in terms of materials, God, nature had equipped us with abundance. It's become our curse because the people who should manage the material wealth we have are not doing the thing properly. There's a story that sounded like folk tale, but in my days, it used to be told that there was a particular machine that was invented to capture anybody who was corrupt. It said it went, sent it to Ghana, and it caught a lot of them. Sent it to Kenya, it did. It was sent to Nigeria. Within 2 weeks, it was stolen.
Honestly, on this hilarious note, actually, I really thank you for your time. Honestly, I will continue, on and on, but I recognize you are no longer as energetic as you were when you were at PTC. So.
In 2012, Professor Egudu became the second Directorate of General Studies at the Godfrey Okoye University, a Catholic university at Enugu, Enugu State.
I told you about a professor who asked me whether I could follow lectures in English.
Yeah,
with my first strong bachelor's degree in English. It's the same. Unfortunately, he happened to be the director of PhD program on the department. I just shared my study time into two and devoted one to his course and shared the other half among 3 other courses, which are in the area of poetry, whether I attend lectures there or not, I read up and will pass. But this man, this devil, I think then he said in his, the day I defended my thesis, you know the question he asked me? Mr. Egudu, what do you understand by the term PhD? I was shocked. I knew immediately that the answer is not Doctor of Philosophy.
Yes.
Could not be. So I asked him a question in return to buy time. I said, sir, I hope you know my own personal definition of it. Yes, of course, yes. You are looking for PhD. What do you understand by the term PhD? I can't say no of my intelligence or anything, but it just came down. I said, sir, my definition of PhD is passport to harder duties. P for passport, H for harder, D for duties. As I said, I don't know where the inspiration came from, except from God.
Yes, yes, it does.
And then the members of the panel looked at each other, started arguing, what could this mean? That time, I now got prepared to expatiate on it. And like you Americans say, it is a matter of publish or perish.
Yes.
And I don't want to perish. So that's why the PhD now enables me to have the confidence to go full scale into research, write and publish.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
And that was the end of the, it was supposed to last 3 hours.
And that was it.
It just ended. They said I could do it.
And you know these white people, the moment they will be underrating you, if you mesmerize them, listen, close them off.
So I said, it was by sheer inspiration, miracle, that God said I must get this degree. I left in less than 10 minutes after I left the house. I just slumped on the corridor, resting, trying to breathe free air. Then my supervisor came in and looked at me and said, Dr. Egudu, I am happy, honored to be the first person to address you as doctor. Then I jumped up. Yeah. And he was a wonderful man, and a Canadian poet laureate.
Professor Nnagbo is our diaspora scholar. He is resident in the United States, but he found it useful to, once in a while, especially during the summer, to come back to Nigeria, precisely to IMT, and organize lectures for both the students and the lecturers. He keyed into Uche his virtues.
if selflessness, love, community service is in Uche. And he's developing a whole big concept on Michael Ekwo Foundation. And we are becoming part of it eventually. We are becoming part of it. It's winding up. And we pray that it succeeds.
From the bedrock of poverty to the pinnacle of academic excellence, Professor Romanus Egudu's story is one of resilience, brilliance, and service. Through his words and actions, he has shaped minds, challenged systems, and built a legacy that will endure for generations.